Hey, what's up? It's your boy BobbySapphire, and today it is time for one of my favorite videos to make every set. It's my competitive buying guide, where I tell you what the prices are going to be for every legendary in Legends of the Force, and I'm going to get them all right, just like last time. Let's check it out.
Whoa, we're gonna have company!
Alright, last time I made this video for Jump to Lightspeed, I was pretty hard on all the prices. Thankfully, I got them all right, and we saw that when Jay and Mike from Unplayable did their react to the price guide video. And then, if you're not following us on TikTok, I did the react to the react, specifically about how I call cards unplayable coasters. And when we were in Minnesota for the regional championship, Mike and Jay gave me an unplayable coaster. So I keep that on my desk for my drink. So here's how this goes. I'm going to go through every legendary. I'm going to tell you what I think the price prediction is going to be, and then, ideally, Mike and Jay react to my great guesses in a couple weeks when the cards actually hit the market. All right, some things to take care of before we get started are just like where I'm coming from with this set. I was really, really hard on the last couple of sets because the legendaries just weren't good, but that's not the case with Legends of the Force. This time the legendaries are good. We're going to see as I go through these, but we have not only playable legendaries, but actively some of the best cards in the set are legendaries, which is huge. The other thing is that Carbonite isn't that great. Now the treatments are great, but there's a lot of foils in Carbonite. I'm not saying that the product isn't great, you shouldn't buy it, but I think that we saw that the Carbonite prices didn't hold any better than the regular treatment prices, right? You don't need to get the Carbonite ones. People are perfectly happy getting their regulars and their hypers. So what I mean here is that I think that this set will hold its value pretty well, and that I expect these predictions, other than a couple that I'm going to mention, should stay pretty steady. This set drop is so close to the Galactic Championships, and 3,000 people are descending upon that just for the main event alone. So including all the judges going, side events, there is a very small window to get these cards, just 2 weeks. 3 weeks if you're going to a pre-release, maybe 3.5 if you're going to go to Vegas to play in these events. So that is going to make the price increase a little bit more. So if you're the kind of person who maybe just plays Heroic or just plays Villainous, you might be looking to resell sooner than later with the set, because I think the prices, if anything, will be a little juiced right when the set drops. And then finally, because there are so many good leaders in this set, and iconic Jedi leaders, I expect the showcases to be extremely sought after, and because so much carbo will get ripped, it will also lead to more of those cards flooding the market, which means that the regular treatment cards should, if anything, stay just slightly lower, but stay steady. So those are the things I'm thinking about when I make these predictions. All right, let's start guessing card prices. The first up is the man, Darth Vader from Twilight of the Apprentice, riding his TIE Advance to victory as not only the best legendary in the set, the most expensive, best card in the set. I think it's going to have a high pre-sale price. This is, I'm going to mention this a few times throughout the video, but this is a card that if you play, you're going to play 3. And man, did FFG give us a legendary. This is what legendaries are supposed to be. It's a bomb. It's a main character. It's a character we love or a character we hate. I absolutely expect this card to be above $30 pre-sale. I think it'll settle around 30 in time for Galactics. And if it settles anywhere, I would expect it to potentially settle in the 25 to 30 range. But my guess for this card is it's going to be a $30 legendary. It goes in every blue villain deck. If they're not running it, I'm going to say, what's wrong with you? You got to be running this card. It's that good. It's not only good with Ambush, it is good all the time, although it is absolutely cracked with Ambush. All right, next up is a bad theme card. I think this is only a $1 card. Always 2. This is a 4-cost Sith event that destroys all your other units except for 2 Sith units. It does give them 2 shields. It does give them 2 experience. But for 4, are we ever doing this? Are you ever nuking your board just to buff 2 Sith units? I don't think so. They did give us a bunch of Sith units that have cool when defeated effects, but not enough to make this playable. This is a bad theme card. I can never see this going in a competitive deck, but shout out to anyone who runs this at Worlds. Make sure you hit me up. I'll have you sign a playset of mine. This is a $1 card. Okay, next up, Anakin Skywalker, another blue legendary that's great. This is a neutral bomb. Because it's not tied to villainous or heroic, it's just going to go in so many decks. And people love this kind of mechanic where it's a neutral card and it deals with hero and villain. And then we have the Anakin leader who's a hero who plays villain cards. All of that is so juicy for getting this card going. So it makes Timmy's really happy to build like a combo deck around him. But also, it's just a really solid competitive card, even if you just give something -3/-3 when it comes into play. This is another one of those 3-ofs that's going to go in so many decks as a 3-of, but not just villainous like Darth Vader was before. Every blue deck, hero or villain, is going to consider running Anakin, especially if you're doing Force, Jedi, maybe Republic someday. So this is going to be a $22 card. It's one of my 2 cards that I have north of $20 right now. Next up is our first unplayable coaster. Shout out to Unplayable. It's very possible that this gets a Mando bump and is worth $2, but I'm going to stick this in the unplayable coaster category. Not only is this the only 9-drop 10/10, no, we haven't, I think Bendu's 8 cost 10/10. So obviously this comes into play shielded, and it has some other friendly effects, but Mando creature, not what it's all about in the competitive world. So this is a buck. These will be keeping your desks from getting moisture on them from your tasty beverages for years to come. All right, the Supremacy. Haven't we had enough 12-cost Star Destroyers or whatever? I guess this is just a capital ship. Wait, is Star Destroyer a type? I don't think it is. 12-cost ships. We get another one here with the Supremacy. It's unimaginable size here. But I gotta say, it actually has some sneaky combo potential. It's got ambush, really good. It gives other friendly vehicle units get +6/+6, meaning like you could drop this on a TIE squadron or something, and then everything is hitting huge. You could use this in like a Vader deck with Galactic Ambition to take 12 and buff all the other units for +6. I mean, it's a 2-card combo, but it would absolutely kill your opponents on the spot. So it's got sneaky combo potential, and for that reason, I'm going to make it a $4.50 legendary. I think it's pretty good, and I expect this to be in a deck at the Galactic Championships Day 2. All right, Leia Organa. What a card. The internet went crazy when Leia flew through space. It was something that everyone who ever thought about being a Jedi or having the Force was like, oh, we could do this. That could be real. And then when she did it in the movies, people hated it. And now the card is available to us in Star Wars Unlimited, and it's pretty great. Force Resistance Official, she plays to space, and then for an action, you move her to the ground, and she buffs your whole team, including her. So there are some sneaky potential plays with like sneak attack. My guess is that this is a $9 card. I think if it wasn't Leia, and if it wasn't such a meme, that you could see it fall to around $5. Like if this was just a random vehicle, like a la Blue Leader or something. But with this being Leia and this being one of the most iconic scenes from the sequel trilogy, the meme level is just so off the charts that I have this as a $9 legendary. All right, probably the third strongest in a vacuum legendary in the set. This is a genuinely great card. The payoff is crazy. When you use the Force, he triggers. So the more you use it, the more often he just starts nuking the board. He's just sitting there meditating in episode 1, the Jedi Council, chilling with Oppo Rancy and Yariel Poof and Yaddle and stuff, and all of a sudden he's just nuking people from his chair. On top of that, he does it when he comes into play by healing 5 damage from your base. He's just so great. This is another one of those cards that I think is going to be heavily played in Premier and competitive formats. So my guess is this is a $14 card, but I would say like if Twin Suns ever really pops off, this is going to go up, because especially the prestige treatment of Yoda is just going to go crazy because it's such a strong card. Oh, shout out to my boy Oppo Rancy. I forget the worm species. It was my Star Wars RPG character too. So he's niche colors, right? Like we don't see mono green too often, but we do like a 3/5 3-drop with Force Jedi. That's where we want to be. So if there ever is a mono green force deck or even just a mono green deck with any of these keywords, he's an auto include, because even just as a 3/5 with those traits, he's great. But if you have an opportunity to give him Sentinel, Shielded, Overwhelm, Sab, Restore, Raid, anything, he's just going to be like one of the staples of your deck, one of the like 3 drops you want to hit. So he's really good as is. He doesn't really have a place in the meta right now because mono green just seems so far behind all the other colors. But if he ever is good, and obviously this card's going to be legal for a long time, my guess is we should stash him. And since he's only going to be around $3, I think he's a very easy stash. Grab 3 right away. Maybe even grab some hypers if they're cheap. Put them in your binder on the back page and say, no, I just traded for those. Those are untradeable. Drive the price up like that. All right, HK47. I don't know why this is a legendary. I'm really not sure. It's a 2/4 2-drop. We get 1 million of those this set. It's a droid, which I guess is cool. It's Sith, but like, you know, we see some Sith payoff. I don't really see this being any good, but the thing that will make it good is that, you know, so sorry, let me restart. It is pretty good, but like it's not so good that it's necessarily taking the place of any other 2-drop that you could play in your deck. Like, I don't know if this makes the cuts in a lot of decks, but if you do need Sith and you do need Droid, he's going to be obviously like an optimum or optimal card to put in, so you'll want 3 of, and for that reason I have it at $3. So I think if he finds the right spot, you're going to want him. Otherwise, there's plenty of 2-drops you could look at elsewhere. This Grand Inquisitor is really good. Possibly top 5 legendary in the set. Very solid role player in Red Force. Being hidden, he hits for 4. He turns all your other Inquisitors hidden, which is like pretty nifty if, you know, those guys ever get good. But the thing is, if you're playing Red Force villain, if you're playing Imperial Red on the ground, like this guy is just going to become a staple. So I think he's going to end up being like a $10 card because when you want him, you want 3. He's one of those cards. All right, Sindralig, the Jedi Weapon Master. Shout out to any of my friends who played the, what's it called? It wasn't called Star Wars, was it called Star Wars Miniatures? Either way, the Jedi Weapon Master is here. You play a lightsaber on him for free when you play him, and when you do, you ready him. Lightsaber, obviously pretty niche. He's an 8 cost 5/6, so when you don't have that lightsaber, like, you're never going to want to play this guy. He's basically a resource. I think he's really strong if there's a spot for this wombo combo kind of deck. I don't see one right now. You know, you do get all the card draw with Kiadi Mundi, but none of the lightsabers are so good that you need to include multiple. Like, you might consider Jedi lightsaber, Yoda's lightsaber. Those are good lightsabers on their own, but how many lightsabers are you going to put in a deck? That's the real problem. So it's a little wombo combo. I think I even am like a little high here on $4. I think I probably, if I was editing myself, I might go like $2.50, $3. But I think he's going to see play because I think people are going to want to try and make that endorphin hit happen of playing a lightsaber on him. You only have to play 1. It's not like Grievous when you need 4. All right, Bendu. I have Bendu, poor Bendu, at Unplayable Coaster. My teammate Justin, just a few hours ago, said, I actually think Bendu's pretty good. I feel bad about giving this 8-drop 10/10 Unplayable Coaster, but he's an Unplayable Coaster. Why? Because we just have so many better options at 8. He is Force, he is a creature, which has a little bit of payoff this set, and 10/10 for 8 is crazy. But when we're playing 8-drops, we're looking for things that do so much more to the board than sit there as a 10/10 and wait, you know? I just don't see this ever making the cut on any of those, so I have this as an 85-cent Unplayable Coaster. Sorry, Justin. All right, Marchand Rowe from the Light of the Jedi books and the Nihil, I don't know how to pronounce it in Star Wars universe. He's fine. I've actually been playing a good amount of CAD Tarkin Town so far this set, and he is really good. Like, that's something CAD was missing, to just like drop something that kind of buffed not only CAD but your whole board when you have things like whatever the 3-cost 1/5 is, and or a Sing, just like all those raid units. He's a decent enabler for raid, but until we have like the problem with raid is these guys have such low power when you play them. It's so easy for our opponent to trade into them without dying back, just value kill us. So what happens is when you play all these raid guys, you're not getting kickbacks, you're not trading back when they die. And it makes just the whole deck kind of underpowered. And there's enough cards around now that, we don't need to play raid units. We can just play 3/5s instead of 1/5s that have raid 2. So if there ever is a reason to play raid, I could see this being really good. But with him being a hype villain from the books and like having a good fit in a couple in a meta deck, one meta deck, I have him at 6. That might be a little high. He could settle in around 4, but he's definitely one of those guys where if there is a raid situation, he's gonna come off the top rope to be in that deck, and his price will skyrocket. So he's a good stash for me. Finally, QGJ comes to SWU. This is a proper legendary, an absolute bomb. 7/5 ambush that also takes another unit off the board when he dies. That's taking advantage of that low HP, but high hit. He's killing things like Talzin, like Quinlan. I mean, I know he comes out later, but you could ramp into him. My point is he kills just about everything on the board. Vader. And when he dies, he takes out the other thing. He's kind of like an anti-Vader that way. Vader brings something out as a 5/7. He kills whatever. He kills Vader, and he kills whatever he took out, puts it on the bottom or top of their deck. So I think this is going to be a huge role player in yellow hero decks. So I have this at $16. I think he's going to be a premier legendary this set. All right, Zuckus. I tried to be hype about this guy. He's Force. He's Bounty Hunter. He doesn't even have Underworld. He has a weird ability where you name a card, and the only thing we really have to look at opponents' decks is Thrawn. So we're playing like mono yellow Thrawn. He doesn't fit anywhere right now. He still does get his buff when you have the old Forlom out, but the fact that he's not Underworld means like you're not playing him in even mono yellow Cad Bane. So I just don't know why and where we're gonna put him. But if you're the kind of person who's so lucky you're just going to name that card correctly all the time, then sure, hit for 8 all you want. But otherwise, I think this is an unplayable coaster. All right, this is sneaky strong because I've had a few people sneak attack this in against me early on in the game and then just blow up, just absolutely nuke my board with the 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units. Basically, Palpatine's effect when it gets defeated. So bringing it in with sneak attack triggers all of that. With Boba Fett, from the last set, it can be 7. It can be an additional damage. So if you can clear something and keep 1 HP, you can potentially kill it. Well, I guess like no one's going to assign their damage, but either way, it does trigger Boba Fett. My problem here is that everyone is just playing high HP units. They all have big booties. So like, if this thing is a 3/3 for 5 and can't even kill 2 things when it dies, is it even worth it? Like I said, it is sneaky strong with that sneak attack play, but otherwise I think it's pretty underpowered, and I expect it to settle in around like $252. All right, Darth Malik. This guy has a lot of potential. A 5-drop 4/7 overwhelm that when he comes into play ready. If you have a Sith leader unit, that means you have to have your Sith leader flipped and on the table as its unit card. That's just pretty rare, and a lot of the Sith units aren't that good. However, this is a Legends character. You can see the Legends band down the bottom from, what's it called? Knights of the Old Republic. So I think people are super hype on him. I think that's going to drive the price up a little bit. I also think he's got a lot of potential as a stash for when they do have a Sith unit that might be worth playing this guy in. Sith leader who you would play this guy in. So I think like he's going to be around $7-8, and something I'll be stashing in the back of my binder for sure. All right, Grogu. He's going to be a staple in these Hantu Force decks. I think a lot of people are going to play him. He's slow, so if you're doing that in a more aggressive shell, you might not play them. But in a grindy matchup where you're kind of in these situations I was describing earlier, where everyone has these high HP units, you're going to use this guy to heal your guys out of dying and then actually just kill opponents' characters. So he becomes someone that your opponent has to deal with, and that 6 HP is actually kind of a pain in the ass in the same vein as all the high HP Force guys are right now. So using Grogu to like make your 3/5 kill the other 3/5s and not have your 3/5s die back is really strong. I think he's also got the Grogu bump. It's also got the heroic only bump. So I'm putting him as a $10 super playable legendary. All right, here's our next unplayable coaster, the Father. He's a 5/10 8-drop. When you use the Force, you may deal damage. If you do to this unit, if you do, the Force is with you. So he lets you keep recurring the Force, but he costs 8. So like, at what point of the game do we have like our Force engine out? like, yeah, I guess we could go infinite, but he's only got 10 HP. So you'd have to have something that really, really pops off. Maybe something like Avar Chris. But then, you know, she only flips for 9, so did you ramp into this? I don't know. I just can't see a world where this guy's good. Like, he had to be a 2-cost 0/10 that can't attack for this ability to even be, like, good. But FFG doesn't like printing good cards, even though they're flirting with it this set. So this is just a $1 unplayable coaster. Shout out to the father. Cool character. Constructed Lightsaber. A lot of people are hyped on this card. I'm not that hyped on it. I think it's cool to have a 3-cost neutral lightsaber that does something good for hero and villain, but not too many decks are going to be able to take advantage of that. There aren't any heroic and villainous units, right? So, like, you can never have both. And, like, Restore 2 is cool, Raid 2 is cool, but we have other ways to sort of, like, buff our units that way. I mean, I'd rather just play a cheaper lightsaber that's +2/+2 than, like, give my unit Raid 2. So I don't think this is very good, but the hype around it's pretty high. So it's $3 for me. I will not be sad if I open 0 of these. All right, so here's the overall price breakdown for this set, in my opinion. I have 6 legendaries that are under $3, 8 that come in between 3 and 10, 4 that come in the 11 to 20 range, and 2 that come in the greater 20 range. Now, we are used to insanely cheap boxes of cards. The last couple sets were basically selling below MSRP right from the jump. I don't think this set will be that. You might be able to get it below MSRP, but I think pre-orders, and then right when the set drops, I would expect them to hold around MSRP because of how many good cards there are. The showcases of these leaders are going to be great. It's all like it's all fan favorites, right? It's all these Force, Jedi, Sith characters. I think the prices of these cards are going to hold. I think the cards are good enough that people actually want to buy them. I think this is actually, I know that like it might hurt your pocket in the outset, but I mean, people weren't really happy with super cheap, like really bad cards that weren't worth anything. You know, we win promos, we can't sell them. We open extra legendaries, nobody wants them. So I do think that like the community in general, I hope appreciates that like the cards are better, so the cards are a little more expensive, and that just like creates a healthier market. We don't feel like we're getting rooked by FFG every time we open a pack. So I'm actually really excited for this move. I'm excited to open packs, and I'm excited to get cards that are not only worth something, but actually pretty good. I think FFG has a long way to go in terms of like making some like really awesome sort of like pushing the envelope in terms of card strength so that we can play some really cool and strong decks. But this is at least a step in the direction of like, okay, at least I'm going to play some cards in this set. When I need to go find a card for my box of my playable play set of Twilight cards, like those sleeves are so smooth because they've never been touched. I don't use almost any card from Twilight. I don't want that. I want to open cards that I get to play with and get to trade and sell and stuff. So I hope this is a step in the right direction. All right, let's take a look real quick at some rares and which rares I think you should buy 3 of immediately. Hey, look at that. I even appropriately named the slide. So these are just 6 rares that I think that you want to get 3 of right away. If you remember my video from last set, I actually was really high on a lot of the rares. This set, I really am not high on the regular rarity rares, but these are 6 that I think are going to go in a lot of decks. So if you're looking at these Jedi decks at all, there's a lot of rarity hidden in these. Luke, Vanestra Rowe, Adigalia, Eathcoth, Yaddle are all cards that I think are staples in their respective colors. You see, like it's literally one from each of the color. I didn't necessarily plan it like that. I just think that's the run, right? They did rare Jedis, and they're all pretty good. And then Luke obviously fits in any heroic deck. And then the other one I think is really strong. You know, obviously it's not as good as Overwhelming Barrage, but Craving Power is pretty good, and it's like a state, like you need it in the new Kylo deck if you're playing green. So I just think like that's a really good card to grab 3 of right away. So these are the ones I recommend buying as soon as the set comes out if you don't open them in your packs. All right, that's it for me. Please let me know in the comments if you think I got these prices right. If you think I got them wrong, let me know what you think the price should have been. And I hope the reacts come in hot and heavy with how wrong everyone thinks I am. And I hope you had fun watching this video. Check you next time. Thanks for watching.